Val Kilmer was one hell of an actor. He didn't just play roles, he became them. I mean, seriously, he spent an entire year living as Jim Morrison.
I am the Lizard King.
Yet there was a method to his madness. From Iceman to Batman, audiences couldn't get enough.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Behind the scenes, however, it was a different story. He had a growing reputation of being difficult to work with. You know, shouting at crew members, shoving directors, that kind of stuff.
So, what you're saying is, this guy's a total wacko.
Then, after years of Hollywood jail, he staged a career comeback with a one-man show about Mark Twain. But as soon as he found his voice again, fate cruelly took it away. And now, to finish the intro, I'd like to channel the great Mr. Twain himself. This here is a tale that's plumb ripe for the telling. It's about a larger-than-life character who made some good pictures and was faced with mortality far too soon. Come sit a spell, laugh a little, cry if you must, and remember, Val Kilmer is your huckleberry. That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death.
In entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe.
Hello there.
What's up?
How is everybody? What's going on? My name is Kyle Plouffe.
I'm Ben Kissel.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
Today's episode of Death and Entertainment, we are absolutely thrilled to bring you the life story of the one and only Val Kilmer.
Ooh, yes, this is going to be a crazy one. We are talking about his death, but we are also a comedy podcast, so we will be making some jokes, all right?
Absolutely. So get a margarita, suck it through your tummy, and enjoy the show.
Yeah, his life is disturbing and funny.
Yes.
And sad.
Just like our podcast.
Yeah, just like the Joel Schumacher Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Which we will talk about in this episode, and here we go.
Okay, Val Edward Kilmer was born on December 31st, 1959. You remember what day that is?
What? No, the day he was born.
That is New Year's Eve,
folks.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you actually stumped me on that one. Damn.
Because they make a big thing out of the New Year's baby.
Yes.
The first one born. But what about the last one of the year?
Train's leaving the station.
Yeah.
I thought Val might have been short for something. It's just Val.
Val.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What'd you think it was short for? Valiant?
Valerie.
That's a woman's name.
Valerio.
Not that it matters.
Listen, it's 2025.
Yes, but that was 1959.
Correct.
Sure.
Come on now.
I agree.
And he was born in Los Angeles.
Ooh, wow.
The great state of Los Angeles.
Beautiful town.
Just seeing if y'all are awake.
State of depression.
Oh, boy. More specifically, it was Chatsworth.
Oh, where they film all the pornography.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and that's where Adam Sandler threw a piano in the street.
Oh, in Punch Drunk Love.
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah, so there's a lot of weird stuff happening there.
All right.
A lot of brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough day to be a sound guy on the porn set.
Yeah.
Do me harder, Daddy. Do me harder. Did someone throw a piano on the street?
You see Adam Sandler in a big blue suit cursing to himself.
I can't come looking at you, Adam.
So his dad, Eugene, was an engineer / land baron.
Land baron.
Yes.
Wow.
Very wealthy. So Val grew up in affluence.
Okay.
He was not a poor kid like
Wow.
Anna Nicole in Texas.
Yeah.
Who had to eat her dinner on the dirt floor, she says.
Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Complete opposite. So they could basically do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, Anna Nicole Smith and Val Kilmer. I do think of them as sort of opposites. Yeah. I never thought of them together personally.
No.
And perhaps maybe a bit of kindred spirits, too.
Okay.
You know, because they both didn't give a fuck.
I was always confused because Anna Nicole Smith's lawyer was named Howard Stern.
Howard K. Stern.
And I couldn't figure out how the hell he could do a radio show every day and take care of this chick.
And coincidentally, Val Kilmer was later on Howard Stern.
Oh, okay.
His dad was doing so well that he went and bought Roy Rogers Ranch.
What?
Not just anybody can buy Roy Rogers Ranch.
Where they make the drink?
That the man that the drink was named after.
It comes out of the faucet.
Yeah.
And the kids turned it into a movie set of sorts.
Wow.
So Val was the middle brother.
Okay.
He had a younger brother named Wesley and an older brother named Mark. And Wesley was a cinephile. He was a fanatic.
Of the files, that's the best one.
That's the only
It
file
is.
that I actually kind of liked. It's a tough thing.
Yeah.
And he would recreate scenes from famous movies like Jaws. And really well done, too. If you've seen the 2021 documentary called Val, it features a lot of his brother's work at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool.
You could tell that he's going places.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of fun with that. And imagine how fun that is in general. Like, no worries at all. You get to basically have this giant playground to yourself.
Pretty sweet.
In California.
Yeah, you got wealthy parents. What could happen? What could go wrong with Mendez Brothers?
And it worked out well because Val was always focused on acting and his brother was focused on directing.
Nice.
So it was a very good team. And in high school, you know the actress Mare Winningham?
I don't know.
I forgive you if you don't.
I have no idea. It sounds like a horse. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Mayor Winningham?
Mayor.
Yeah, she was in a lot of great things.
Okay.
She was in the movie Georgia with Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, we come from a long line of Winningham. Yeah.
Turner and Hooch?
Yeah, Turner and Hooch.
Oh, I did like Turner and Hooch.
Miracle Mile, which I've talked about on this podcast,
yeah.
being the scariest ending probably to any movie I've ever seen.
She's the love interest. In
She's the one that's screaming.
that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's Val Kilmer's high school sweetie.
Wow.
Hide your pork. Hide your pork products. The Winninghams are coming, and they demand all ham.
And his classmate was none other than Kevin Spacey.
Oh, interesting.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, you never know how life is going to pan out.
What was that like, I wonder, because Val was into acting. He was starring in all the productions, but
Kevin was, no, I don't know, I was going to say in men's, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I was going to say.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, there you go. You take it, Kyle.
Kevin must have been an egomaniac in high school.
Yeah.
Competing for the same roles as Val.
Yeah.
So I wonder what their relationship was like. Hopefully it was consensual.
Did they ever talk about that? Because
I couldn't find much info on that.
Yeah, it is rare to have two superstars come from the same class.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey must have grown up fairly wealthy then as well.
He had a very strange upbringing.
Oh, okay. I'm sure we'll cover that at some point.
Hopefully soon we'll be able
Well, all right. We don't wish death upon anyone.
No.
Said that. I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, although business was going well, Eugene and Gladys divorced.
Oh.
In the late 60s when Val was 8 years old. So that kind of
It's always a shitty thing.
sours things
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And the thing is, the dad had all the wealth and power. So the mom moved to Arizona without the kids, and the dad won full custody of the boys.
Wow.
Well, what are you going to do? If everything was going well, you're going to leave a baron just to go to Arizona.
Yeah, you're gonna leave. You live at Universal Studios, basically.
Right.
The former Roy Rogers mansion.
Roy Rogers, Baron of Grenadine over here. You're leaving. What are you doing?
She must have really hated that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go to a 2-bedroom flat in Arizona instead of this paradise.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate though, because they loved their mom, and she was the main what would you say, practitioner? Sure. Looking for the right word. Main believer in Christian Science.
Okay.
Oh, God.
And so she got everyone into that.
Jesus. Yeah. See you later.
Well, don't judge Kyle.
Oh.
Because you don't believe in it too.
Well, they don't believe to get help for sick babies, and they let them die. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, what is it exactly? Like, what's...
It's just garbage. They think that people are gifts from God and you can't intervene in God's work, so they don't believe in modern medicine. And then, I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but my buddy's grandfather showed up and there was a dead baby. They're like, oh, yeah, the baby died. He's been sick forever. And they were like, well, why didn't you get help and go to the hospital? And they're like, we're Christian scientists. We don't believe in going to the hospital. And so he was like, he's a cop, and he's saying, so if you were severely injured right now, would you go to the hospital? He's like, of course not. And so he beat the shit out of him, and he immediately went to the emergency room. Huh. That's a cop brutality story you can get behind.
That's really interesting. Sometimes they beat up the right guy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, there we go.
It's nice to hear a warm cop story.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Another thing is Eugene had a lot of affairs, and that's what partly led to the divorce. So he wasn't really that...
He sounds like a wealthy land baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. So one night, Val had a strange dream, and it's very specific.
He read Word Up magazine?
He's hanging out with Mare, his high school gal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were both in high school at the time. I don't want to make it sound like,
all right,
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there with Mare and her mom, not even his mom. So he's talking with Mare and her mom in this dream. And they start talking about death. And then Mare's mom tells him that she's not afraid of death because she was excited to meet the creator.
Okay.
And so he wakes up from this, doesn't think anything of it. But then that day, his brother Wesley, his younger brother, the director, the up-and-coming director, had an epileptic seizure and drowned in the family jacuzzi.
Oh, my God.
He was 15 years old.
Wow. That's an older person's death.
Yeah.
Usually the jacuzzi, you're in your mid-50s, you have a martini, you have your heart attack.
You were on NBC for 20 years?
Sure. You're found by either a sex worker or an employee.
Or you're at the Beverly Hilton and you just had a smorgasbord plate delivered to the room.
Yeah.
And you're about to go to a Clive Davis party.
Yep.
Then you drown.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. So he suffered from seizures. And he had medication for that. But his dad blamed himself because he feels like he wasn't strict enough about making Wesley take the pills all the time. And the circumstances that day are that the housekeeper was away buying groceries at this moment. So if someone had been around, he could have been saved.
Right.
And with that, it's done. Like his brother's dreams, like his life is over.
Right.
Jeez.
And this was absolutely devastating for Val because they were a team. Mm-hmm. And after that, Val's dad, Eugene, became detached. The life had drained out of his personality, and he just didn't really, he never got his spark back, which I understand.
Absolutely.
That's
devastating.
Yeah, it's a very traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
So Val uses that tragedy to, I guess, inspire him to make it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To fulfill
live his younger brother's dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he becomes the youngest kid ever accepted into the drama school at Juilliard.
Wow.
At age 17.
Good for him.
That record was later broken by someone named Seth Numrick. Numeric,
Oh, yeah, Seth.
Yeah, Seth Numeric.
who was admitted to the school at age 15 many years later.
Wow.
No one knows who Numeric is.
No. While he was at Juilliard, by the way, this is the stomping ground of Robin Williams, Christopher Reeve,
Everyone that matters.
everyone that matters. Val helped start a program for playwriting because I guess they didn't have one at the time.
They didn't have one of those at the time?
No.
Oh, weird. All
And he wrote a play with his fellow thespians called How It All Began, about a leftist German militant.
Okay.
And he called this a life-changing thrill to be able to perform his own words on stage. And he was the star of this play.
Love it.
It's Juilliard, it's New
Yeah.
York.
It's
You're
huge.
young.
Jeez.
Handsome.
Yeah, all of the above. Every box is checked here. And he's so confident at this point because it's going so well. He turns down an offer from Francis Coppola to do The Outsiders.
Wow.
And instead he says, you know what, I'd rather do Broadway right now.
Wow.
Because he's an actor.
Right.
He's not an actor.
Right.
He's an actor.
He would have been great in The Outsiders.
Yeah, but couldn't a lot of people have been good in that?
Yeah.
It's not really.
What do you mean? You gotta have a tongue, you gotta have eyes, arms.
Rough and tumble kids.
Yeah, ain't that much
know.
of it. I could have done that. Like, hey, yo, I'm a greaser.
Kick his ass.
You could have done that line. I'm a greaser.
By the way, Tom Cruise was in that.
Yeah.
A man he will share the screen with in a little while. That's not all they shared either.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't even know what that means exactly.
Very good.
The play that he had turned down The Outsiders for was called Slab Boys, written by Kevin Spacey. No. But he became the third lead behind Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn.
Those two were both at Juilliard?
No, now they're doing this play
Oh,
on
now
Broadway.
he's gone
Yeah.
pro. Oh, wow.
Slab Boys.
But he's supposed to be starring in it, but then Kevin Bacon and Sean Penn roll in.
Wow.
And then the director's like, okay, now you're the third lead because these two, they're gonna take over. Which, again, it sort of makes sense because they had a lot of buzz around them too.
Right.
Those two guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, you don't make that game around just anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Sean Penn, he was fresh off the Beaver trilogy. Remember that?
I don't remember the Beaver trilogy.
Just
No.
Google Beaver trilogy.
Okay, I think I did last night.
Yeah, Pornhub.com.
Yeah, we're back in Chatsworth now. But fear not, because Val's movie career is about to be launched with an underrated comedy called Top Secret.
Oh, yes.
But this is quite the movie debut because he's the star of it. And this is from the Zucker brothers. Before they found success with Naked Gun, this is their first. Well, of course, there's Airplane and all that.
Right.
But this was like the first big one after that success.
Wow.
So they were trying to duplicate the formula in some ways, but financially it didn't do very well. Because it's sort of like a World War II comedy, and I guess audiences weren't into that. And on the set, this is where, all right, so Val, fresh off Juilliard, Broadway, he's a method actor. And he's taken it so serious.
Even for Top Secret, which is a goofball movie.
Exactly. So he's asking the directors all these questions about his motivation.
Oh, God.
Why is his character doing this? Why is that lamp over there in the corner? Why is the Nazi symbol
There. So is he
embroidered
Buddhist?
on my jacket?
Am I a Buddhist?
Yeah.
What's the point?
And they're just like, look, kid, just hit your mark.
Yeah.
So we can do the gags.
Right.
I will say in comedies like that, it's best to play them totally straight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like if you actually look at Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun, he is being pretty authentic.
Yeah.
And I was shocked to find out after I had been a fan of all the Naked Gun movies as a kid that he was a serious actor leading up to Airplane.
Yeah.
There's a Twilight Zone episode with Leslie Nielsen, and I watch it and I laugh, but it's not funny.
And he's the captain in the Poseidon Adventure, and he does not have a very good fate in that movie, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid because I loved him as Frank Drebin.
That's so funny.
I'm like, no,
Not Drebin.
don't die. Really, and he played a serious role in this Barbra Streisand movie called Nuts, where he's like this violent asshole who gets murdered.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yeah. Back to Val.
So yeah, Top Secret didn't do so well at the box office, but it got a lot of good reviews, including 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert.
Wow, they like the comedy.
Yeah.
They like the goofball comedy.
They sure did.
Rare.
After that, he followed it up with Real Genius, sort of a teen comedy. And he co-starred with John Grise from White Lotus, who plays Gary Gregg.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Uncle Rico.
And Uncle Rico.
Yeah, from Napoleon Dynamite.
Another thing that blew my mind, that those two are the same people.
Yeah, that's where I know him from. I haven't watched this White Lotus show.
Oh.
I just hear so much about it. I heard it's boring, then I heard all the families are having sex with each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
People are like, it's boring, it sucks, but I'm going to make a million YouTube videos about different theories and explanations and reactions. Yeah, so Real Genius, that worked out pretty well for him. So now he's established, like, he's in the movies. But the next offer he gets is for a movie that he wasn't too keen on doing because he felt that it was promoting warmongering. And it was a little too rah-rah for the USA.
This is Hollywood, man. That's what they do.
Yeah.
A little movie called Top Gun.
Thought the shorts were too short.
But he was under contract.
Okay.
So he had to do it.
It's a good thing he did it.
Yeah, he ended up enjoying the experience.
So this was a part of a multi-picture deal for him then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he didn't see it that it was going to be so successful, obviously.
And it's his 3rd movie.
It's his 3rd movie.
That's incredible.
Because keep in mind, Tom Cruise wasn't Tom Cruise quite yet.
Right.
He was kind of like Val Kilmer and like up and coming, had done a couple of movies.
He had done Risky Business at this point and things like that. So he
Yeah.
was sort of seen as a goofball lover boy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was the first like huge blockbuster that they're both a part of.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the movie, he's the villain of sorts, and Tom Cruise is his rival. And so off screen, Val Kilmer played up that rivalry. He didn't speak to him that much, and when Cruise and some others would go to the bar, like with Anthony Edwards, he'd go to a different bar.
I like
with
that.
the other guys.
Keep kayfabe alive. Yeah. That's pro wrestling. There used to be where the heels and the faces, they separated completely. This is good acting.
It's great. You're going to get a great product, but God, is it probably annoying to be around.
Come on. You want to be with the bad boys.
No, this is classic, like the method acting. Dustin Hoffman, where on the Marathon Man set, he's told he's trying to get in character, like running in place. And then what's his name? The thespian, the master thespian.
Master thespian
from the Marathon Man.
Oh,
you know,
I just remember a guy getting choked out.
He's the greatest actor of all time.
Dom DeLuise. I'm going Dom DeLuise.
Laurence Olivier.
Oh, okay.
So Dustin Hoffman is running in place, getting sweaty, like punching himself in the forehead. And then he's like, what on earth are you doing? Dustin Hoffman's like, I'm trying to feel this.
Yeah, I'm running, It's a marathon. I'm a marathon man.
And then he tells him, why don't you just act? Mm-hmm. So there's the line.
I love that.
Method versus, I guess, just
acting.
Yeah. Well, Val is from the method school. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as Kyle said, you get a good performance. I get a great performance,
Absolutely.
I would say. Why don't we check it out, actually? We have a scene from Top Gun here.
You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine.
Ooh.
Kiss, 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 kiss.
Yeah, there are a lot of homoerotic elements to Top Gun.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Including that sweaty volleyball scene.
Oh, it was one of the sexier scenes of all time.
Yeah. Incidentally, Tom Cruise's love interest in the movie, Kelly McGillis, she was a classmate of Val's at Juilliard.
Wow. Can't escape these people.
No, you really can't.
No, it's a small world.
Unless you're Seth Nagoni or whatever his name was. Numrick.
Numrick. Where are you, Numrick? Yeah, I was the youngest kid ever to get invited into Juilliard.
How about
Say that.
Hey, buddy, can you just pump my gas already? Yeah, Jersey just treats me well.
Speaking of Uncle Rico, that guy's probably talking about how he broke Val's record to anyone who will listen.
Absolutely. I was 15.
Val was so hot as an actor that he brought Cher to the premiere.
Woo!
Wow.
Still
Cher.
absolutely beautiful to this day.
And she never stopped loving Val to this day.
Cher?
They remained very close,
Yeah.
even though they broke up.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she wear assless chaps?
I'm sure she took them off for him.
Nice.
So Val is now extremely successful. You know, one of the biggest actors around.
Yeah.
And his dad is on his way down at this point. So he still wanted to keep the land baron thing going because he owned a lot of, land in the valley. But he wanted more. So then Val would co-sign loans for him.
What?
And then when those projects fell through, Val had the choice to either sue his dad or just write him another big check.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
And
tough to sue your dad.
Yeah, so he just wrote him the check.
Okay. So his dad was kind of failing financially.
Yes.
I see.
So, that's not great. But you got to feel for the guy. He's gone through a lot.
Yeah.
After that, Val does a movie called Willow,
Yeah, it's my favorite Val Kilmer movie.
which Kyle shocked us just before saying he'd never even heard of it.
I never heard of it is one thing. Usually I've heard of everything I
Yeah.
don't watch.
Like, how did you miss Willow?
I didn't know Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer were in the same movie.
Yes, indeed. Warwick Davis, super stud.
Yeah.
And on the set, he met his future wife, Joanne Wally. They married that same year that Willow was released in 1988. And he had felt a special bond with the state of New Mexico after visiting there as a kid because that's where his grandpa resided. And so he decided, let's move to New Mexico and start a new life.
I love it. Nothing
Because-
bad could happen there.
No, nothing at all.
Nope.
My wife is from Spain. And he never really liked the Valley. In fact, he's on record as saying he hated the Valley.
Wow.
I would assume it feels like you're at work all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get out of the Hollywood bubble, which we'll go over a little bit later. People weren't so kind to him when you're not doing so well.
It's brutal.
And he loved his life in New Mexico, herded buffalo.
Oh, all right.
And he flirted with the idea of running for governor even.
Wow.
No kidding.
How's that?
That's interesting. Governor Kilmer.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah, why not?
So Val is at a crossroads career-wise. He's just experienced the biggest success a young actor could experience.
Right.
Top Gun.
With Top Gun. And then I'm assuming Willow probably wasn't quite the hit that they wanted it to be,
Not even close.
but it was a cult classic.
Oh, yeah,
Because,
now
again,
people love Willow.
it's
And
fanta-
it did
yeah.
pretty well on video.
Okay.
And that's probably how you remember it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like that back then. Like there'd be a perceived huge flop, but then you'd see it all the time at the video store.
Big Lebowski is a prime example.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now Val is itching to work with some of the great directors. He loved working with Tony Scott, by the way, who directed Top Gun. And he loved working with Ron Howard, who directed Willow.
Wow.
Which is another surprise if you didn't know that. He has such a weird filmography.
Yeah. I thought he just started getting into directing in like the early 2000s. I didn't know he's been since like the 80s.
He did Willow and Apollo 13 and Ed TV.
Ed TV?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
With McConaughey?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, the other Ed TV.
Yeah.
And then he also made the J.D. Vance docu-movie.
Oh, God, that's right.
Wow.
With Glenn Close.
It's so bizarre.
The Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah.
And she was nominated for both a Razzie and an Oscar for the same performance.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
She's like, listen to me, boy. You're going to be big someday. Make your grandma proud. See, I could have won an Oscar for that movie.
Absolutely. You still have a chance.
Val sets his sights on the Stanley Kubrick, and he makes an audition tape for Full Metal Jacket. Not only that, and by the way, he does like 8 different versions of a soldier in the tape, like a brave one, a shy one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the different character types they expose.
And then he books a ticket to England, and he hand delivers the tape to Kubrick.
Oh, while he's doing Eyes Wide Shut?
No, this is way before.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah, is that creepy or is that good?
Well,
if you're Kubrick, you're like, hey, you know, how do you know where I live?
Yeah.
I know I directed A Clockwork Orange, but this is a little creepy here.
A little strange, Val.
But he makes a hard pass on Kilmer,
Wow.
unfortunately.
Probably because he's so involved and he knows he's going to be very involved too, and they can't both be that involved.
Can't do it.
That is, wow, that's so insightful of Kubrick.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, dude, why the fuck are you here right now?
So then Matthew Modine walks in the room like, hey, how's it going? You hired.
Yeah. He's like, dude, if you're showing up to my house across the pond, you're going to show up to my trailer and really annoy me.
Yes, well, Hollywood is the most fickle of all romance, and if you want it too much, they'll be like, nah.
Yeah,
You
he
have
was
to pretend like you're too cool for the job.
It's like, whatever.
which Val Kilmer was also good at doing. So that's why it's like it's too bad that some people saw his potential, but yeah, I guess it didn't work that time. But I mean, in the sense, he was definitely with that persona in the 90s, like too cool for all this.
Oh, yeah.
Like he didn't care at all.
Yeah.
So then he sets his sight on Martin Scorsese.
Oh.
And he makes
He's going down the checklist.
an elaborate audition tape for Goodfellas, like, hey, bada bing, bada go.
You know, I could see him in Full Metal Jacket. Goodfellas, he's not fat enough.
Yeah.
I actually think
Wait.
he's too attractive.
Leota was fat.
No,
man?
I
Come
know,
on
but he's got
now.
a big old fat head.
Yeah.
He's just like he looks like he looks like he could eat a lot of meatballs, you know? Fat is an attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Val Kilmer could have later been in Goodfellas then.
Yeah, I just can't see young Val, you know, throwing someone's legs into a trunk and then be like, they don't fit, and then breaking them and stuff. I don't know.
You're right about Goodfellas. Full Metal Jacket, he could have easily killed it at that role. Yeah. He could have done something maybe in Goodfellas. But
Another method actor is Vince D'Onofrio. He got in trouble for opening up his own PI agency and like trying to take on real cases. And they're like, you can't do that.
Wait, what?
When he was doing Law and Order.
Well, I never heard that.
He's another freak when it comes to method acting.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
That movie, The Cell, still haunts me.
Oh my God, yeah.
With J-Lo.
And he's, of course, brilliant in Robert Altman's The Player.
Hell yeah.
He's the Tim Robbins victim.
Yeah.
Don't want to give anything away here. So then Val sets his sights on Oliver Stone. Maybe Oliver is as mad as Val because he loves the crazy audition tapes he gets.
Yeah.
It's Val singing Doors songs, acting like Jim Morrison, and he did a great job, so he got the role.
Okay.
He memorized all the lyrics to every Doors song.
All right.
That's dedication. Like,
Yeah.
not even memorizing the script.
Yeah.
Like, also the entire catalog of the Doors.
Right. I mean, I'm just to push back just a little bit. It's not the most intricate lyrics.
Light my fire.
You know? I kind of remember that one.
And in the movie, that was supposed to be so controversial, the moment where, well, I mean, in real life it was, where he's on Ed Sullivan, he's like, couldn't get much higher.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Doesn't mean anything.
Do you get it?
Who cares? Yeah, you make a good point, but at the same time, you are emulating an icon.
Absolutely.
It's not exactly easy to do.
Who died the way all rock stars should die, fat.
Fat and in France.
Oh, nice.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know he was in France.
In fact, he's buried there, and his grave is a tourist attraction.
Huh.
That's what a Frenchman said to me once when I was there as a young man.
Okay.
I wanted to go check out the Mona Lisa or something, but he was like, I can show you Jim Morrison's grave.
I'd rather see the grave.
Yeah. No, I was like, I don't need to see that.
Interesting.
I just want to see Mona Lisa.
He's got a little hump for his little belly.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice. The Mona Lisa's boring.
It's tiny.
It is very, it can fit in my pocket.
I don't get it.
Yeah, but so is a gravestone.
Well,
it's like Boston. You go there, it's like, oh, here's where the massacre happened. Then there's where the Tea Party happened.
Yeah.
It's a fucking Dunkin' Donuts now.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
I'll get a donkey.
Hey, there you go.
Why even bother?
Bacon, egg, and cheese, please.
It's not a tea joint, that's for damn sure.
Apparently, he spent thousands of dollars on the 8-minute audition tape. Yikes. And then get this. To prepare for the role, he stayed in character as Jim Morrison for an entire year.
Oh, my God.
So annoying.
And it drove his wife, Joanne, crazy.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
He would dress in his clothes, go to his old haunts on the Sunset Strip.
I don't know.
Like crying while he's leaving, like, you have a family.
No, I don't. I'm Jim Morrison.
And he was so consumed with Morrison that he had to seek psychiatric assistance to get help, to get Jim out of his head.
I agree with Lawrence of Olivier.
Yeah.
Yeah, just act, pal.
Come on. It's like, who's that one dude recently who couldn't stop being Elvis?
Oh, Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the Golden Globes, and when he got his award, he was like, thank you very much. And it wasn't
No.
facetiously.
He
It was
said,
like,
he said he had to go to classes to un-Elvis himself. What the hell is
I
happening?
get de-Elvised.
Yeah.
I think they would do us all a bit of good to de-Elvis ourselves, actually.
Oh, my God. I know. I haven't been regular in a while.
This reminds me of Jim Carrey on the set of Man on the Moon,
Yep.
where probably for more than a year, he went around going, thank you very much.
Pissing everybody off.
No,
Yeah.
Jim, I asked, what do you want for lunch? Thank you very much.
I guess I have a soft spot, though, because he did so good.
Yeah.
But he did and he didn't.
He also wasn't correct with Larry Lawler.
Jerry
or, I'm
Lawler.
sorry, with Jerry.
Larry
Thank you.
That's your friend.
No, I know. No. I love that, though. You corrected me in a pro wrestling thing.
Yay!
You guys think I don't know anything about wrestling.
He's becoming a real boy. Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman were actually friends. And that was one thing that Jim didn't understand. Because Jim was very mean to Jerry Lawler, but in reality, backstage, they would just laugh and laugh.
Yeah.
Because they were pulling the wool over everyone's eyes.
Yeah, that always confused me that behind the scenes that he was
It's
cruel
it's
to
pro
Jerry
wrestling.
Lawler.
Yes.
Because it was famously known that him and Andy Kaufman were friends in real life.
Yes.
So if he was authentic, he would have been friends with Lawler.
Yes.
And you're right, it is a very good performance, but what I'm responding to is later on when I rewatched it after the magic faded. Like, I loved it when it first came out and I was young, but now it's very, I don't know, like almost like cringy the way they recreate the Andy Kaufman moments. You know, like, this guy's brilliant. And it just comes off as kind of annoying now.
Yeah, all right.
But I think it's about as good of a Kaufman movie you could make.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I'm dying over here. Help me out, guys. The surviving members of the Doors said that when they listened to Kilmer's voice, they couldn't distinguish it from Morrison's.
Oh, my God.
That's amazing.
How's that?
I mean, that probably made his entire life.
So he embodies Jim Morrison. Everyone pretty much accepted that was the best casting for that role. Like an example of like, wow, they got that right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there was buzz about an Oscar nomination. Oliver Stone has just come out recently and said that he was robbed that year. So what do you think? You think he deserved that?
I think the Oscars always get it wrong.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Like this year, they made it seem like they were going to give it to Demi Moore for The Substance.
Yeah.
She just had to live the movie.
They also just came out and said they had a $12 million Oscar-winning campaign for that girl who won for Honora. They spent $12 million sending out packages to all the voters.
That's disgusting.
And the budget for the movie was $6 million, by the way.
Wow.
No.
So the fix was in on that.
Oh
Crazy.
my God.
she did great, but
it's all politics.
It really is.
Are you trying to tell me that Hollywood is cutthroat?
I guess so.
I don't want to believe it.
It's on the tape, baby.
It's a little corny, I think.
So let's get to Tombstone. And I'm not talking about the pizza.
I'm not talking about the finishing move from The Undertaker.
Yeah. What if he tombstoned someone on a tombstone pizza?
Ooh.
So that would be great.
Burn your scalp.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, hot pizza. But if it was a cold pizza, you could get a concussion.
Oh, that's true.
The thing is, though, if you put Iceman on it, then it would cool down. Right?
There you go.
I don't know. Tombstone is a Western. Do you know that?
What?
And it came out at a similar time as another Western with Kevin Costner called Wyatt Earp.
Oh, yeah.
Tombstone also has Wyatt Earp, and Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday. And Tombstone beat Wyatt Earp's ass at the box office.
Wow.
It's like Dante's Peak and Volcano coming out at the same time.
Yep. And this, of course, is famous for a certain line. Let's listen to it.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Fight's not with you, Holiday.
I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
He is good.
Mm-hmm. And again, people say he was robbed for an Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
And that line, I'm your huckleberry, that's something that Doc Holliday did say in real life. It was one of his favorite terms, and some people misheard it as hucklebearer.
Okay.
Because I guess huckle was a term used for the handles on caskets at that time.
Well, what does huckleberry mean?
So you would think, too, that maybe it has to do with Huckleberry Finn.
That's what I thought.
Who, by the way, Mark Twain is a huge hero of Val Kilmer's. But it's not. It has nothing to do with Huckleberry Finn. So it really was just a line that
It just made
Doc
it up.
It just makes no
said.
fucking
Yeah,
sense.
It doesn't really make sense. It just
I love it.
So Val Kilmer wrote an autobiography near the end of his life, and he titled it "I'm Your Huckleberry," and he said that it means "I'm your man," like you've met your match.
All right.
That works.
That works.
Interesting.
That's fine. Fine. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And in the movie, Doc Holliday is dying of tuberculosis, which we've learned is not a very pleasant way to go.
No.
Vivian Lee from Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
died of that, and we both had it last summer, or all three of us.
Yes.
did. Yeah. That was
Nightmare.
That was not fun. So in his death scene, spoiler alert, he had the crew put a bag of ice under his bum.
Saw this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that he could be authentic.
Oh.
It was all cold and shit.
Is that method, you think? I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's something.
Or is that cheating?
It's not cheating. It's cold. So then you can be like, I'm cold.
No, you have to act like you're cold.
Well, it's easier if you're actually cold.
I guess so. Val Kilmer enjoyed traveling, you know? And he went to Africa
Okay.
after Tombstone to explore.
Okay.
And while he was in Africa, he went inside a bat cave.
Oh, no.
And then he gets a message from his agent about an offer for his next movie. And you know what that movie was?
What?
The Saint. No. Batman Forever.
All right.
The third Batman. And to keep you up to speed, there were 2 other Batmans before this.
Yes.
Theatrically. All right. Now I'm just
Tim Burton.
talking in circles. There was one silly Batman movie based on the series.
In the 60s.
Adam West, yeah.
But the first real Batman movie, Tim Burton, 1989, Michael Keaton, they both came back for the sequel. Then both of them didn't want to do another one.
Right.
So then Joel Schumacher comes in, and he's hot off Falling Down.
Which was a great movie.
I think of that movie all the time when I'm sitting on the 405.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just want to get out of my car and leave it.
Every time I get a fast food burger, I think about it. Does this look like the picture?
And so Val Kilmer says yes without even reading the script because he thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to be Batman?
Well, Val Kilmer, eventually. Because on set, it wasn't as much fun as he thought it'd be. Apparently, the costume weighed a ton. You could hardly move in it. And when he wore it, he also couldn't hear anybody else.
Oh.
So he was required just to stand there and then deliver the line on cue. Meanwhile, he's surrounded by Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Right.
Giving these really big performances.
As they hate each other as well.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, what was that line? I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
Yeah. Because he was up for Cobb when he was up for... Cobb was destroyed. It was his Oscar swing against...
No pun intended.
Yeah, against Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber. And The Mask.
And so we got a lot of interesting dynamics going on here. Meanwhile, Val Kilmer's jealous of both of them that they get to really
Right. Well, he's wearing 200 pounds worth of suit, can't hear anything. Probably can't really be method then.
No.
Not really.
Because Batman can hear very well.
And move around in that suit.
Yes. We've seen it happen.
Yeah, so it was very isolating for him. And he wasn't in a great mood. There's a report that he was verbally abusive to a crew member. And then director Joel Schumacher called him out. And then Val didn't speak to him for 2 weeks.
Oh.
So imagine making a movie where the main actor won't speak to you.
Right. That would be difficult.
Schumacher later called Val childish and impossible, and the most psychologically disturbed person he ever worked with.
That's how I would describe that movie.
And this is
Childish and Impossible.
And this is the man who worked with Nicolas Cage, mind you.
Wow.
Well, Nicolas Cage is the stud. He's a stud.
I know. Yeah, so that's not great, but hey. And then there was another movie right before this he did called The Real McCoy, where he allegedly fired a prop gun after arguing with the director.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin style.
But how's the performance? Let's take a look. This is a scene where Nicole Kidman, by the way, plays his love interest, Dr. Chase Meridian. And if you'll recall, she was married to Tom Cruise at that time. You know, Maverick.
I'm going to bang your wife.
Yes, indeed.
So Val's now the love interest to Tom Cruise's wife. Take that. Huh?
My opinion, this letter writer is a total wacko.
Wacko? That a technical term?
Patient may suffer from obsessional syndrome with potential homicidal tendencies. Does that work better for you?
So, what you're saying is this guy's a total wacko.
With dialogue like that, it can't fail.
No.
And I guess his turtleneck was too tight.
Oh, really?
No, I just made that up.
Poor guy.
Well, none of that matters because money talks, right? Mm-hmm. Batman Forever was a huge commercial hit.
I'm sure it was.
I saw it in the theater.
So did I, and it was one of the most exciting movie experiences of my life.
Yes.
I was so excited to see that movie.
Okay. Okay.
What's wrong with you, Ben? You don't remember this?
No, I liked the Michael Keaton Batman. I didn't like this goofball Batman.
Even at the time.
Even at the time.
Didn't get into it.
I would take Adam West Batman. Because he's trying to get rid of a bomb, but he can't because there's a bunch of ducks.
It's so underrated because this gets lumped in with Batman and Robin, like stupid. And mind you, there are stupid elements, but it is a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's like 1995, the movie.
With one of the biggest songs of the decade.
Yeah, Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah, and that's true. I did like that song.
Right, and then you got like Drew Barrymore in a supporting role. You got, Sealed, Flaming Lips on the soundtrack.
Hell
Jim
yeah.
Carrey, his first big payday after becoming a superstar from Dumb and Dumb. Like, this was so cool.
I was watching Japanese death matches around this time. I don't think it really wasn't violent enough.
All right, fine. So you loved Batman and Robin, the follow-up, I take it.
The porno.
So Val took no break after filming Batman, and he immediately moved on to Heat.
Ooh, yes, this is good.
The L.A. noir directed by Michael Mann. And actually, that movie inspired Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. So,
interesting.
Wow.
Batman,
Yeah.
Michael Mann said of Val Kilmer, quote, I could not figure out how Val Kilmer could tolerate being Val Kilmer. In any scene, an actor and director do scene analysis, which is the action or what does the character want. Sometimes it's in the text, sometimes it's in the subtext. Val would have 7 or 8 different reactions and modalities, every one of them, which is great. I couldn't imagine having such an artistic range and depth, more than it's possible to control.
Wow, high compliment.
Ooh. And I wonder if Val... he loves the movie, and basically, who doesn't?
Yeah, he's great.
It's such an amazing movie. Like the shootout sequences, like you're seeing like legends together: Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. But I wonder if, in the midst of all that, Val Kilmer was a little jealous of Pacino.
Ooh.
Why?
Because Pacino what line did he get to say?
Got a big ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, not everyone gets the best line.
Then he went on to do a movie called The Island of Dr. Moreau. And this is
a classic.
This was a very doomed production.
Oh my God, this movie is fascinating.
The original director, Richard Stanley, was fired because the studio didn't think
he's a psychopath. He's fucking nuts.
They didn't think he could handle the material.
No, this is not on the studio. He could not. He is crazy.
And so there's a rumor that he convinced the makeup crew to turn him into one of the background mutants.
That happened.
And so
that totally happened. There's a great documentary on it.
Oh, shoot.
At the rap party, he finally unmasked himself. Val Kilmer later mentioned that Stanley would yell at him between takes in the Dogman makeup. And it's like, who is that guy? And he was replaced by John Frankenheimer as director. This is an esteemed director. He directed The Manchurian Candidate previously, and a movie called The Iceman Cometh. Coincidence?
Bum, bum, bum.
And then I saw this title in his filmography, and I'm intrigued. 99 and 44 100% dead. As in 44 out of 100% dead.
That's the name of the movie?
Yes, 99 and 44 100% dead.
Well, I don't get it. It's like a math problem. It's a math issue.
I looked it up, and it used to be in the Ivory soap commercials. That was their slogan, that their soap was 99 and 44 out of 100% pure.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's weird.
Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Yeah. So I have to see this movie now.
Sounds like Scott Steiner math for those pro wrestling nerds out there. You'll know what I'm talking about.
So you think John Frankenheimer came on set and everything was good?
I don't think
everything was all well.
Yeah. I don't think so. No,
not at all.
No.
He did not get along with Val Kilmer. They fought instantly. They had creative differences, and in a private vlog, Kilmer started recording him while they were arguing. and you can hear Frankenheimer begging him to turn the camera off. And then Val tells him that, no, it has to stay on because it's a witness to show that Frankenheimer is being unfair.
Ooh.
And they hated each other, and afterwards Frankenheimer said that if he was directing a movie called The Life of Val Kilmer, he would not cast Val Kilmer.
I mean, that would make sense, actually.
And Val said that the only reason he did the movie in the first place was to work with Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
And
who was a nightmare on set, too.
Absolutely.
Well, this is big Brando. This is big, fat, happy Brando. I mean, although he was really angry. So.
And painted white.
Yeah.
Yeah, for no reason.
And sometimes they painted this other big fat guy white to look like Brando.
Oh my God.
So some people didn't know if it was Brando or the other guy.
Jesus.
Some days. And then one morning, both Brando and Kilmer refused to come out of their trailers until the other one did. And they lost a whole day of shooting because of that.
Oh my God.
And then Brando would request large amounts of cabbage and then eat it about an hour before he was due to shoot the scene. And then he would silently fart so that Kilmer would be thrown off guard.
Oh my God. What's happening?
But Kilmer later claimed that they actually did get along on set.
All right.
That it was all very playful.
Okay.
This movie also features the world's smallest man. And Brando became obsessed with him and would kind of like keep him on his shoulder like a pet.
I remember that guy.
It was his request to have him in the movie too.
Right.
It was just Brando he got whatever he wanted. So he's come up a lot lately because remember he worked with the great Selena in Don Juan DeMarco. While on set, another thing to add to Kilmer's, craziness is that he's watching CNN one afternoon and he sees a report that his wife is filing for divorce.
It's so weird how many celebrities find out things about their personal life on the news.
Really? That's crazy.
And he was served divorce papers on set.
Wow.
No shit. Of the island of Dr. Moreau.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
so
all
not
just
a
a terrible experience.
Yes, not a good time
Not
for
at
him.
all.
After that, he burned a cameraman with a cigarette.
On purpose?
Well, that's what they say.
Jeez.
Who knows?
And in his autobiography, he wrote that it was Daryl Hannah who was actually the love of his life and the one who got away.
I thought you were going to say Daryl Hammond.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you never know. Great character actors.
Yep. She later married Neil Young, of course.
Daryl Hannah did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They're still married.
What?
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Neil Young ain't no slouch. Come on.
Wow.
Well, he's a little slouchy.
Well,
yeah.
He was known as sort of like one of the worst dressed. I mean, I love Neil Young, but he's not.
He's kind of the epitome of slouch now that you mention it.
Right.
But one of my favorite artists.
Of course.
So Val Kilmer then makes a movie with Michael Douglas called The Ghost in the Darkness about a killer lion.
Okay.
Makes sense. They didn't really change the narrative there for the lion, huh?
No. So he's been gone a while making these weird movies and being Batman. And when he comes back, his reputation is really catching up with him. So while he's promoting The Ghost in the Darkness, he appears on the Today Show. And Bryant Gumbel grills him.
Bryant Gumbel.
Gumbel?
Come on, Gumbel.
Gumbel goes after him.
Over the past year, you've had a lot of bad press. How come?
Well, I had a lot of good press, too. My defense is that I've been working. I've been out of the country. I didn't have a publicist and didn't really have a chance to defend myself. And after I did Batman, I went immediately into Heat because I wanted to work with Robert De Niro. And
we should note that's the title of the movie. Go ahead.
What? Well, what are you talking about?
I didn't get Heat. I was in Heat.
What?
They write about people they're not interested in, so...
Is it that simple, though? I mean, there were, for example, directors have been, Joel Schumacher said you were difficult to work with. Frankenheimer said he never worked with you again. By now, everybody's seen Marlon Brando's quote about you, that he confuses the size of his paycheck with the size of his talent. I mean, why are these people saying things if they're not true?
Marlon didn't say that. and Joel asked me to be in the Time to Kill while we were still editing Batman, and very much wanted me to do the sequel. So it wasn't because he didn't want to work with me, it's because I chose to do The Saint. And in Batman, I play 2 characters, and The Saint, I play about 15, so it was kind of mathematical.
Will you allow there's been a cumulative negative effect on your image of all of this stuff?
No.
He was quite handsome.
Oh, yeah.
I do think he's kind of cool.
Yeah, and so was Val Kilmer.
Oh,
hey,
there
Brian
you go,
Gumble.
Gumble.
I love how Brian Gumbel's acting like he's the arbiter of good behavior.
Yeah. Also, they didn't grill like Bill Clinton as hard as that.
No
It's
shit.
Like, all right, fine. He's difficult. He's an actor who has a bit of an ego.
Yeah.
This is the guy who, in a memo, said that he hated Willard Scott.
What?
And found him annoying.
Willard Scott, if you were 100, you made it on that show.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Willard Scott?
He's a wholesome guy.
Brian Gumble, that is.
Wow. You just got gumbled.
Whoa.
And then let's see how he was treated on David Letterman.
Oh, wow. Letterman, he could be mean to some people.
David Letterman asked him about this and said he made up a list of all the accusations.
Oh, Jesus.
And so just say, is it true or not true when I brush on some of these?
No, that's not true.
Okay. You wanted the director of that movie, Island of Dr. Moreau, to be fired.
No.
No, not true. Shoved Batman director. Shoved the Batman director.
No.
No, didn't do that. Not true. On the set of Tombstone, you grabbed a locust, an extra hat, and ate it.
Well, that is true.
All right. You shoved Bob Dole off stage at a campaign stop last year. You were responsible for the breakup of Hall & Oates.
I was young. I reformed.
They broke up Hall & Oates, Paul. Did you know that? Oh, man.
That's your classic Letterman.
There you go.
Got any gum?
That is your classic 90s Letterman. He never said that, by the way.
That was Norm.
That was Norm.
Yeah.
So you can see that Kilmer's having a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
Kind of brushing it off his shoulders.
I mean, he's lucky he got the good side of Letterman because he could have tried to bury him, too. He was just having fun with him, which is good.
Yeah, well, he's not Lindsay Lohan.
No.
True.
Letterman only treats people he probably doesn't respect like that.
Yes.
Love me a Lindsay Lohan, buddy.
And the guy who played McFly's dad. Crispin Glover. He was super mean to him.
Well, Crispin Glover
He was being
insane.
attacked.
Yeah.
Well, Crispin Glover was on acid. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, I like Crispin Glover's a lot.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, I don't know if I like. He's an interesting person.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be best friends with the guy. Not that he wants to be friends with me. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they used to call him Extra Crispin.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Saint did not turn out to be a hit. I saw it in the theater, by the way.
Wow.
So I contributed.
You were the one?
I supported him. I liked it. It was fun.
It is a fun movie.
Yeah.
I have no problem. I didn't know it wasn't a hit.
No, it wasn't. And then he followed that up with At First Sight. But not many people saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay, I'm done. I'm really done for the day. On set, Mira Sorvino said she loved working with him.
Oh, good.
And found him easy to work with.
Positive news.
Can you imagine when she said that in the interview? They're like, wait, are we talking about the same person here?
Well, Hollywood gets a narrative and then they just go with it. It's like Jennifer Aniston's never going to find love. It's like she can bang 1 million men right now if she wants to.
Of course. Then he does one final big studio movie, Red Planet, which was a big flop.
Okay, I never heard of it.
And he did not get along with Tom Sizemore on set. But then again, who did?
Yeah, that's fine. That's probably on Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
There's a story where on the set of Heat that Kilmer would antagonize Sizemore by stealing his bag of cocaine.
Oh, that'll do it.
Every week he'd steal it.
Oh, God.
And then he would pretend to help him look for the guy who stole it.
Yeah. Sounds like my family. They'll steal your wallet and help you try to find it.
That is aggravating. That is aggravating.
In 2004, so Kilmer's worked with a lot of pretty good directors. He didn't get to work with Kubrick or Scorsese.
Yeah.
But he's worked with Tony Scott, Joel Schumacher.
Hey.
By the way, I forgot to mention that what was sort of said in the Brian Gumbel interview, that he did officially turn down Batman and Robin to do The Saint.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite a decision.
Yeah.
Like,
sounds like it was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And then he worked with David Mamet for the movie Spartan in 2004. And you got to hear a little of this DVD commentary.
Oh, this is incredible.
This came from friend of the show, Mark Mulcair. You remember him.
Yeah.
He sent us this amazing clip.
Yeah, where he discusses his time on set.
Yeah, his love for David Mamet.
And that's David's style. He writes in a lot of particular rhythms. That's why it's so frustrating when he cuts all the good stuff. Messes up his own rhythm. I don't understand him. He's cruel. He hates actors. Having failed in the profession himself, I hate him. The other thing is the hair, his hairdo. What is that? Wow. I mean, and the glasses. What I find amazing is his courage, though. I mean, to still wear a beret in 2004. You gotta have guts. You gotta give that to him. I'm proud of this film and for David Mamet because I think it's the least cussing. I mean, to rely on profanity is embarrassing, really.
Fuck it.
See, with the effing. Why has he got to go there? I think it was great that David hired Bill Macy to play a bad guy because he is almost insanely jealous of Bill. Bill's had a lot of success. They've known each other for 35 years, and success that has eluded David Mamet.
Wow.
David Mamet to his friends.
Mamet. Holy shit.
Oh, my God. He went in. Jeez. Oh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
So that is his persona. Doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah. That got good reviews, by the way, Spartan. But David Mamet does have a very mixed filmography, if you ask me. Because he has some great ones, obviously. He wrote Glengarry Glen Ross. I love House of Games. But he also did movies like State and Maine and Heist. And Phil Spector on HBO.
Yeah.
With Pacino.
Yeah.
And he
That
went
was
on
funny.
record as saying he thinks Phil Spector is innocent.
We simply don't know, do we? We simply don't know.
We kind of know.
We pretty much
So anyway, then Val Kilmer does Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And this was a comeback for everyone involved. For director Shane Black. Because he had been kind of on the outs since the debacle Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
I loved that movie.
I thought it was great.
It was a debacle?
It was a big flop. It opened around...
What?
Yeah.
And it opened at the same time as Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park just devoured it.
But it's so good.
Jurassic Park it devoured everything.
It did.
Yeah.
But that movie was great.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, I can be sucked into the movies too.
Yeah.
I agree. I saw it on video, and I watched it all the time. I loved it.
Huh.
Yeah, and it works. It's very funny. And the action is good.
I didn't trust anyone with a fake eye for years.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's really like the stunts, and it's so like satirical. Yeah, but unfortunately, people just wanted to see dinosaurs and Wayne Knight.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want to see Wayne Knight? Newman.
Also in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Robert Downey Jr., and this was before Iron Man. This was when he was a liability in Hollywood because of all his drug use. And this is a very funny movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, this is maybe my favorite Val Kilmer film.
Yes. Yeah, it's hilarious. And he plays a gay detective named Gay Perry.
It's very tongue-in-cheek.
Yes, and tongue and butt.
Well, yes, it is, yes.
And then he did a couple of comedies to round out the, what do they call it, the naughties? The oddies?
Yeah, the oddies.
The naughty oddies.
That's weird.
The 2000s, if you're normal. And he did MacGruber. He played the villain.
So good.
Great death scene.
Yeah.
An endless death scene.
Yeah.
And then he appeared in, well, why don't we just play the clip
Oh,
here?
boy.
This movie.
This is
Alejandro's favorite movie of all time.
Well, no, my favorite scene from that movie, let's say.
Favorite scene from your favorite movie?
Mariska Hargitay, Your Holiness.
Mariska Hargitay, Val Kilmer.
Oh! he took off a little petal from the flowers.
Why do you hurt me? I know.
Mariska Hargitay, Guru Pitta.
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay.
Kyle, don't ruin
enjoyed
it.
Your sutra, especially the part about not being a victim.
Oh, thank you. Because you are such a generous benefactor, we are establishing the Mariska Hargitay Special Victims Unit.
Oh my God.
You're smiling, Kyle.
And that is, of course, the Love Guru.
Yeah.
Which was another flop, but dare I say cult classic?
Sure, yeah, you can say that.
Just because I'm saying it.
Yeah.
No one else says that. Kilmer did work with Oliver Stone once again in Alexander. And he had to gain weight for the role. And unfortunately, after that, he struggled to keep the weight off.
Well, he's not a young man anymore either.
No,
Right.
and the tabloids were not very kind to him. There was a 2007 Daily Mail article where the title was Val Kilmer, From Batman to Fat Man.
Come on, Daily Mail, you got to do better.
Do they, though?
Nah, not really.
They're pretty bottom of the barrel.
True.
And then he had money troubles. So in 2010, he owed a bunch of back taxes to the IRS. And in 2011, his ex-wife Joanne took out a lien on his ranch in New Mexico after failing to pay about $27,000 worth of child support. His kids, by the way, were Mercedes, born in 1991, and then Jack, born in 1995. And then there was another lawsuit from a company called Executive Consulting. And they claimed that Kilmer hired them to help with his financial woes, but that they were never paid. So it's a big mess.
Right.
He ended up selling his land in New Mexico. He had visions of starting an artist colony there. But unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition.
That's probably for the best.
And he hightailed it to Malibu, which he nicknamed Valaboo.
Oh, nice. Fun.
In 2012, he decided to better himself, and he lost the weight. But then, wouldn't you know it?
What happened?
The rags, the tabloid rags, thought that he lost too much weight.
Oh, you can never win.
And wrote that he was gaunt. And he said, quote, "Can't win in this crazy town. Too heavy for too many years, and now gossip says too thin."
Yep, you can't base your self-worth on these schmucks.
So after he sold his land, he sets up shop in Southern California, and he uses the profits from selling his 6,000 acres of land to fund his Mark Twain project. Because I told you that was one of his heroes. In fact, this is probably his biggest hero. And he wrote a one-man show called Citizen Twain.
I get it. I don't love it, but I get it. I don't want to besmirch the dead.
Yeah.
And he said there were many parallels between the two of them, besides both being geniuses. Twain had lost some of his land. I guess he owned a river.
She lost the river, all right.
His daughter died very young. That was a tragedy. So he compared that to his brother, his brother Wesley. And then they both had debts that made them go on the road to pay them off.
Okay.
So, you know, it's very personal for him.
Yeah.
And then
they both talk about huckleberries.
They do. Yeah, exactly. And in 2012, he came up with the one-man show. He was doing all sorts of Mark Twain projects. And so he performed the show at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And later at the Kirk Douglas Theater before touring the country with it. He said about the show, quote, that it's simply bearing down on the big questions. What and who is God to me? what's at the core of Twain's soul. What does it mean to be an American? What does it mean to be a real artist? Twain is an honorary founding father, so I was very much interested in his love of humanity and specifically Americans. He perhaps did as much as President Lincoln did to confront racism in our lives. We owe him a solemn debt.
Okay. So he's back to the theater.
Yes. And there's another connection to Mark Twain that he related to because Mark Twain wrote a book on Christian Science. But, it's sort of fuzzy. I can't tell. He was also critical of Christian Science.
Yeah.
And especially...
It took his mother away.
Yeah. And especially its founder, Mary Baker Eddy. So I think Val just liked that he seemed to be obsessed with Christian Science.
Okay.
Even though Val very much, is a Christian Scientist. So I don't know. It's weird though. It's kind of like there were some Nazis that were obsessed with the movie American History X.
Yeah.
And I just want to say to them, that's anti-Nazi, right? But for some reason they loved the movie anyway.
They just like anyone talking about it.
It depends what time they stop the movie.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, about halfway through.
Yeah.
So now I have a couple clips from this 2013 interview that Val Kilmer did with Larry King.
All right, the late great.
And in this first clip, he talks about the Mark Twain project.
The difference between praying in the casino and praying in church, don't you? Well, in the casino, they really mean it. Oh, hear me, Lord. You know why the Dalai Lama loves the casino? Because he loves Tibet.
It's like a stand-up show.
It's not. Yeah. All right, I love it.
Already on.
That's terrific. That must be such fun.
It's a lot of fun. Those aren't Twain quotes. Those are just jokes.
Oh, of course, he didn't know the Dalai Lama.
But to tell a joke on stage and get that immediate response.
Oh, my God. Larry King's the best.
Yeah,
of course, he didn't know the Dalai Lama.
I'm hip. I knew that was made up.
What are we, stupid?
And then they get into the deep conversation about a subject that terrified Mr. King.
All right, I am, no pun intended, deathly afraid of it. You say you don't believe in it. Death. When you say you don't believe in it, I'm afraid of it. How do you feel about it?
I don't believe in death.
What do you mean?
I believe, well, if we just look at it physically for a moment, we are literally, physically one thing. If you just pull back physically and look at the planet Earth, we're part of one organism. This is how I see the physical world, and I accept that there are things in the physical world that are not as we perceive them. Heaven is a state of mind. It's consciousness that...
But I know I'm not going to exist. And that I can't do anything about it, but like Woody Allen said, I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens.
Yes. I like that. I can think of a Mark Twain one about death, too. I change it from Cincinnati to Australia. If I die, I want to die in Australia, because everything happens there 10 years late.
Well, we have some social media. We're never going to answer death. We have some social media questions for you.
All right, never going to answer death. I love it.
Oh, man. I miss Larry King. So while rehearsing for the one-man show in Nashville, Kilmer noticed that there was something wrong with his voice. It wasn't as strong as usual, and he postponed the show. And he then coughed up blood and was rushed to the hospital. Well, it turns out that he had throat cancer.
Damn.
And he was diagnosed in 2015. At first, he had no plans to medically intervene because he was a Christian Scientist, and he thought that you could pray it away.
Jeez.
Huh? But then his kids, Mercedes and Jack, convinced him to undergo chemotherapy and surgery.
There you go. You can do both.
Yeah.
And the treatments were successful, and he was cancer-free. He underwent a tracheotomy, which permanently damaged his speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
And they installed a feeding tube on him and a voice box. And get this, he said that he believed the treatment caused his suffering.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, yeah, chemo does cause a lot of suffering. It
Yeah.
hurt.
No, but he said that the prayer is what took his cancer away.
Well,
and now he's left with the side effects of the physical intervention.
Oh, boy.
You know. But he did not speak openly about this. He kept it a complete secret.
Yeah.
So he had to cancel his tour, which was devastating because he was having so much fun going around being Mark Twain. And instead, he turned it into a movie called Cinema Twain.
Okay.
Is that better than the
Not
stage?
really.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
And so he started touring with that.
Yeah.
But people were starting to notice, obviously. There were a lot of paparazzi photos that showed him grabbing his neck and wearing scarves.
Right.
And people were like,
That's a tough thing to hide.
Yeah, like, what's going on with you?
I'm an ascot man now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And example of this speculation is, I have a clip here from TMZ. This was in 2016 when he was presenting his movie at a film festival, and it's the first time people heard his new voice.
Last night in Hollywood, Val Kilmer shows up to introduce a screening of his new movie, Citizen Kane, and when he addressed the crowd, it was very obvious.
Citizen Twain.
Sorry, did I say Citizen Kane?
Yeah, you may have, yeah.
Citizen Twain, and when he addressed the crowd, it was very obvious that he is battling something. He wouldn't let on what it is, but it was very hard to understand what he was saying. You will hear this, and he tries to explain it.
I went to rehearsal down in Florida, and I started having trouble with my speech. My tongue slowed up, and I had to cancel the tour.
Can you pause it?
So as I'm
I don't know if the listeners can understand what he's saying, but he's basically just saying that he has a swollen tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's why he sounds
you
different.
can still understand him.
And
Yeah.
he's recovering.
Yeah, it's just rough.
And I want to add something else that before he admitted it, Michael Douglas came out in the press and confirmed that he had throat cancer.
My wife's pussy was poison.
Yeah, that's right.
That he got from eating his Catherine Zeta-Jones's vagina.
Hell of a way to go.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably people lining up to get the same cancer.
But hold on. But Val Kilmer was pissed and wrote on Facebook that he doesn't know what Michael Douglas is talking about, and that he's sorely mistaken.
So he just never, Val Kilmer's like, I never eat pussy, and I still got it.
so in the movie, so
Okay, pause it.
I will say, at
You
the
guys can understand that, what he just said?
No, but that was
Okay,
just one
there.
point.
There we go.
At
He
least
said,
he
I'm showing the movie so that I don't have to talk.
Yeah.
I got a big laugh.
in good spirits and a sense of humor about this.
Dude, you should get that checked out.
He's dabbing, saliva
There is something really upsetting and troubling about this whole thing, and it's so weird to me that Michael Douglas came out with a statement, and then Val Kilmer came out and said not
it's
true.
not cancer,
So,
but
it's
something
just
is there.
weird.
I mean,
I've never quite seen anything like this.
All right. Throat cancer, Harvey, you never saw it? Jeez, I hate TMZ so much.
Concerned.
No, he's not. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's a gay man that went through like the AIDS epidemic. He's like, I've never seen anything like this.
After a long hospital stay, Kilmer threw himself into painting, much like David Lynch did when he was ill, although he always painted. But now Val Kilmer is rediscovering the artist within. Incidentally, Kilmer had turned down roles in Dune and Blue Velvet, and I believe he regretted that decision. He also turned down a role in The Matrix to do that blind movie at first sight.
Okay.
Some might say that's sort of a bad choice.
What was he going to do in The Matrix?
I think it might have been for
It can't
Neo.
be, nah, he's not Neo.
He could have been the agent.
Yeah, he could have been an agent, but he ain't no Neo.
No.
The only stupider decision was Will Smith doing Wild Wild West instead.
Mm-hmm.
He did turn down the role of Neo. So yeah, he's painting and he buys this studio space in Hollywood to work out of. And then it quickly became a sacred artist space. And to this day, it's a makeshift museum of Val Kilmer.
Uh-oh.
Among the items there are Doc Holliday's socks, a Batman figure with a Mark Twain head, and coasters featuring Jim Morrison.
All right.
So that's nice. He kind of got that. Remember how he wanted to do that in New Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's happening at his space in Hollywood.
Full of coasters.
Yeah. And so he toured the country doing meet and greets and going to events, you know, partly to make money because he was not doing too well after all those financial woes, but also he enjoyed meeting the fans. At one point in that documentary called Val, it shows him at a Comic-Con event and he's signing the same phrase from Top Gun over and over. I'll be your wingman. They have a compilation of people saying, can you write, I'll be your wingman? And then he gets so exhausted that he has to take a break and he goes and throws up.
I believe it. Signing stuff, not to, whatever. It's the best job on earth, but it does get exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, it really looked like it in this documentary. And then they wheel him back in and people are, you know, keep thanking him like, thanks for coming back. So he was dedicated. But you could tell it was taxing on him to still have to go and do that. You know what's also sort of sad is that his younger brother Wesley died, and then his older brother Mark, he had a feud with throughout the years, and they were estranged for a very long time. At one point, his brother said of Val, he has no example in his life of a good relationship he can look to. And their feud really began after their dad died in the mid-90s, dispute over the estate. Mark is a psychologist also, and he doesn't vibe with the Christian Science beliefs. But I heard that they made amends after the cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 2017, Val Kilmer finally came clean. During a Reddit Ask Me Anything session, he confirmed that he was healing from cancer. And then he told the Hollywood Reporter that he'd been dealing with the illness for 2 years.
Yeah, the biggest non-surprise.
Right.
Yeah, but it's up to him to tell it whenever he wants to.
That's true.
And in 2020, he made an appearance on Good Morning America and said,
Is it?
and said he was doing great.
Yeah, Good Morning America.
Oh,
I'm dying of throat cancer.
Ay,
Not
ay,
so
ay.
Good Morning America.
Ay, ay, ay. And that he feels a lot better than he sounds.
That is good. Very good.
Which I actually don't believe.
Oh, wow.
I think he was suffering.
Well, of course he was suffering. It's horrible.
But it shows his resilience, his tenacity, such a great attitude through all that. Let's watch a little clip from that documentary Val I kept mentioning.
No, I've seen them several times. I have this without plugging this hole.
Oh,
dang. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard.
So I don't know if you didn't understand that. He said he can't speak without plugging the hole. And he
Right.
goes on to say that he has to choose between speaking and eating.
Well, we all do that.
He could only talk when he pushed this button on his throat. Yeah, and had a lot of trouble breathing. And there's another clip here that you'll appreciate where he's talking about religion and his son Jack is hanging out with him in the room as he's talking about religion.
I've studied all the basic religions. I've always been interested in religions. And often when I meet someone, I'll end up talking about their faith. I'll ask them.
So he's flustered now.
Oh,
Okay.
Jeez.
Falls over.
His house is so messy.
Yeah.
Help it.
That's not funny.
I'm a bastard.
Not funny.
I love you.
Not funny.
That was a joke?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Very, very funny.
That is hilarious.
Because when you're sick, it's very easy to fool people.
Yeah, it's scary.
And make them concerned.
Jeez. This is a pratfall?
Yeah.
That's Juilliard, baby.
Yeah.
And he still worked as much as he could. He appeared in a movie called Pay Dirt with his daughter Mercedes. And he had actually appeared in the movie Palo Alto along with his son Jack, who is also an actor, following in his dad's footsteps. And he did do the voiceover for the documentary Val in place of his dad.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Because there was originally a rumor that this company called Sonatic did a voice recreation using AI technology, but that wasn't actually featured in the documentary. But Val Kilmer afterwards worked with this company to maybe do future things using his voice. And so he was very excited about that. He said, as human beings, the ability to communicate is the core of our experience, and the side effects from throat cancer have made it difficult for others to understand me. The chance to narrate my story in a voice that feels authentic and familiar is an incredibly special gift.
Okay.
A couple things he appeared in were not, they're not his best work, I would say. He did a lot of like straight to red box movies in his later years before the cancer. Kind of like how they put Bruce Willis to work before he was ill.
Right.
Where it's like 20 movies in 1 year. Yeah. Like, what? But one of the more infamous ones is called The Snowman. And his voice is completely dubbed in the movie. And it's very obvious. So it's like unsettling. And it's supposed to be a terrible movie. So we should add that to our list.
All right.
And then he appeared in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot as Silent Bob's counterpart in as Blunt Man.
Oh, hilarious.
In the Blunt Man and Chronic reboot. And again, this is not his best work.
Right.
Kind of makes the love guru look like Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to judge. It was nice of Kevin Smith to do that for him because if there was any role he could play, it was someone that doesn't talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was pretty brilliant there. But don't worry. There's one more blockbuster movie that has Val Kilmer's name all over it.
Ooh.
Top Gun Maverick.
Woo! All about John McCain. Wait, what?
There were rumors that he was going to appear in it, and they turned out to be true. And this movie was in development for a very, very long time. And it finally got released in 2022. And in the movie, they have Iceman battling cancer, which mirrors his real life story. And let's watch that scene between him and Tom Cruise.
The Navy needs Maverick. The kid needs Maverick. That's why I fought for you. That's why you're still here.
Thank you, Ice, for everything.
One last thing. Who's the better pilot? You or me?
This is a nice moment. Let's not ruin it.
Well, you can just say he was. I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna die real soon and stuff. You'd be like, it was you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So the movie received a 5-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. It got rave reviews, and it became the #1 movie of 2022.
Nice.
And remember, it was also the #1 movie of 1986. So that's called going out on top. Top Gun, that is.
Oh, right.
And that brings us to April Fool's Day, 2025. I'm sure you all heard some good jokes that day.
I love April Fool's Day. It's not like we live a foolish day every day.
And you sort of disbelieve some of the headlines that pop up on your phone.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, one of them was Val Kilmer dead at 65.
Mm-hmm.
That was no joke. He did die.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, we wouldn't be covering him.
Yeah.
That would be a cruel joke.
That would be a
man.
cruel joke.
A retraction here?
But then again, it would be the kind of joke that maybe Kilmer would send out himself.
Yeah.
Based on that clip.
True.
It was a bit of a cut up.
Yes, he was.
Well, his daughter Mercedes confirmed to the AP that he died in his Malibu home, and it was due to pneumonia. They didn't specify if the pneumonia was related to the throat cancer, but...
Well, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I think everything's related to the throat cancer.
Yeah, exactly. According to the American Thoracic Society, the side effects of, the cancer procedures, especially where the tube is inserted in the trachea, can definitely increase the risk of pneumonia. So that's sad. And then there were reports that he had actually been bedridden for years prior to his death. It was not a shocking death in the sense that they all saw it coming. He was not doing well for a very long time. Then there's this weird report that on the same day he died, that he was supposed to appear at a Beverly Hills film festival. I guess it was a tribute to the actor Michael Madsen, and that his appearance had been confirmed the weekend before.
Okay.
But then they said that around the same time that the story hit the news that he wouldn't be appearing at the festival, the reports of his death came in.
Yeah, it was his last joke. He's like, of course I'll be there. Just kidding, nerds.
No way.
Yeah. Well, it was Twain that said that thing about reports of my death have been highly exaggerated, right? Well, this was not exaggerated.
No.
Tom Cruise honored his Top Gun co-star afterwards. He was appearing at the CinemaCon event, and he said, quote, "I can't tell you how much I admire his work, how grateful and honored I was when he joined Top Gun and came back later for Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I think it would be really nice if we could just have a moment together because he loved movies and he gave a lot to all of us. Just think about all the wonderful times that we had with him." And he said, "I wish you well on your next journey."
Wow.
And in the documentary, Val Kilmer said he has no regrets. Quote, "I have behaved poorly. I have behaved bravely. I have behaved bizarrely to some. I deny none of this and have no regrets because I have lost and found parts of myself that I never knew existed, and I am blessed."
Wow. R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
What a life. 65, packed a lot into it.
Yeah. That brings us to
Final thoughts.
Wow. What an incredible life. He did, like he said, he did admit to, being a pain in the ass for a little bit. But it was Danny Trejo that said that he wasn't a pain in the ass, really. He wanted good work to be done.
He was a perfectionist.
Yes.
And Michael Douglas loved working with him. Mira Sorvino. The list goes on. Tom Cruise, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. American hero, Val Kilmer.
And I actually have a theory about his disdain for movie directors. And I think I'm correct here. His brother Wesley was a prodigy, making great short films at the ranch. And they both had dreams together that were intertwined, where Wesley was going to become a great film director and Val Kilmer a great actor. Well, Wesley's dreams were cut short in 1977 when he was only 15 years old. So for the rest of his life, Val Kilmer resented some of the directors that he had to work with.
It's possible.
It's very possible.
Because that should have been Wesley.
And they weren't as good as his younger brother.
Yeah.
They weren't as good.
Wow.
All right.
What a theory.
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Absolutely.
Do you hear that?
You've got mail.
We got a mailbag.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness, can you believe it?
I can. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
In the same spot every show. Yeah, I can kind of believe it.
Sort of at the end there. Uh-huh.
Let's see. As seen by Dave said, amazing episode, guys, regarding the Kimbo Slice episode.
Kimbo Slice.
My brother-in-law used to bounce at an Orange County club, and Tank Abbott came in one time. He almost got killed by Tank when he touched Tank's girl during a fight and pulled her off another girl.
Jeez, Tank Abbott.
Yeah, jeez.
Dating chicks just like himself.
Someone just wanted to remind you, Jesse Rodriguez wanted to remind you that the show you were asking that you were on was Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Oh, that's I was on that show. That's the show I was on.
Runkle Doug said, this is my new favorite show, and Where's the Bear said spot on as usual. So we
Thank you
appreciate
guys. Thank you all so much. And thanks so much for supporting the shows. If you want to watch live, you can go to patreon.com/diebud. Make sure to check out OK Bud, 4 episodes a week, giving you all the news you need to know to make your office uncomfortable. And again, hail yourself.
And until next week,
don't go dying on us.
Bye.
You have just heard
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.